Hi guys, so today I'm going to be doing my favourite books of 2014. Now this list does not necessarily mean that the books were published in 2014, they're just the books that I've read in 2014. Also this list is in no particular order. So the first book that is definitely a favourite of 2014 was Me and Earl and the Dying Girl by Jessie Andrews. This book was heartwarming and funny and it just made me laugh out loud, which a book hasn't done in years. So for a book to make me laugh out loud, it just really is a fantastic book. It is about a boy named Earl and his mum makes him become friends with a girl who is dying of cancer. Now don't let that throw you off. It's not another Fault in Our Stars sob fest, though you may cry a little bit. It's more just a funny, I guess, heartwarming story. Also, I forgot to mention that most of these books I actually have done a review on my channel. So if you want a more in-depth explanation about the book or my more thoughts and feelings about them, then you can check them out. Me and Eleanor and the Dying Girl has been done in a review. The next book I'm kind of cheating with because it is a book, but it's actually a trilogy, but it's just in this big paperback bound book. But it is The Summer I Turned Pretty series by Jenny Han, including The Summer I Turned Pretty, It's Not Summer Without You, and We'll Always Have Summer. I didn't expect to love this series as much as I did, and if you've been on my channel for a little while, you've probably heard me rave on and on about this book. So it's about this girl named Belly. Now Belly and her family always go every summer to this little, I guess, holiday home, and they also go there with their mum's best friend, and she has two boys, the Fisher boys. Now Belly has always had a crush on Conrad, and this year he has finally started to notice her, but so has the other brother. And Belly kind of finds herself in a love triangle, and it's not one of those bad love triangles, let me tell you. This series is just fantastic. You don't have to be like a huge lovey-dovey person to enjoy this series. I don't know what I love so much about the series. It was just so heartwarming and fantastic. The characters were just so well thought out, and trust me, I don't like love triangles, but this was just so well done and I can't recommend it enough. The next book is a book I don't have with me because I'm currently lending it out to a friend, but it is Anna Dressed in Blood. It is about a boy and he hunts ghosts, and one day he comes across a really evil ghost named Anna and stuff ensues from there. I've never read a ghost story like this. In fact, I haven't read very many ghost stories to begin with, but I just found this series fantastic. There is a sequel, but I didn't find it as good as the first one, though I still really liked it. If you're looking for a little bit more horror in your YA, then I would definitely recommend Anna Dressed in Blood. The next book I read is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline, which has quickly become one of my favourites. I read it only a couple months ago and I did do a review on this one, so if you want to watch it, you can just look at my channel and find it. But it's basically about a world where virtual reality gaming exists, and the creator of this game died, but when he died he left this kind of puzzle, and for whoever to solve the puzzle first would win his fortune, which is a lot of money. And so in this world there are people dedicating their lives to figuring out this puzzle so they can win this fortune, and the main character in this also is trying to do that too. I really love games. I really love the idea of virtual reality gaming, and so I just loved this book. If someone's not really a reader, then I would recommend this book because I feel like it's so much fun and you can just dive straight into it, and so for someone who's not a reader and they can love it, that's saying something about this book. As I said, if you want a more in-depth explanation about this book or my full feelings on it, you can check out my review. The next book is If I Stay by Gail Forman. This book is about a girl named Mia who seems to have everything, and then one day her and her family are caught in a car crash. And Mia has to decide if she stays in the world or goes on to the unknown. It's terribly sad, heartwarming, beautiful. I really loved the way this story played out, and I just wasn't expecting to love it as much as I did. I still haven't seen the movie to this though I will be very shortly. The sequels are also pretty good, but If I Stay was just fantastic. And then I have City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare. This is the last book in the Mortal Instrument series, and if you haven't read the Mortal Instrument series, I don't know what you're doing with your life because they're fantastic. But finally, after so many years, we have the conclusion to this, and I just felt the conclusion was fantastic. It wrapped up a lot of loose ends, and I felt like it was a really satisfying ending for the characters that I had grown to love over the years. This edition also had a little comic at the end of it, which just made it even more fantastic. And then I have Silver Shadows by Rochelle Mead, and this is, I think, the 5th book in the Bloodline series. The Bloodline series is one of my fantastic series, and somehow each book in the series just gets better and better, and this one was no exception. I'm not going to tell you anything about the plot because I don't want to spoil it, but if you have read the other Bloodlines books, you can check out my review on this. But if you haven't read the Bloodlines books, just go pick them up because they are fantastic. And then I have another series, and it is Anna and the French Kiss, Lola and the Boy Next Door, and Isla and the Happily Ever After by Stephanie Perkins. I read this series and I fell in love with all of the characters. It's a series where you don't have to read the other books in the series, though it is recommended because characters from other books do make appearances in like the other books, so it makes a little bit more sense if you do read the series in order of Anna, Lola and Isla. They're contemporary romance YAs, but even if you're not a lovey-dovey person, I recommend these books because I just find that everyone generally loves them. I have a done review of all 3 of these books, so if you would like more of an explanation of what they are about or my full feelings on them, you can check that out. And then we have Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. You might be wondering why there's no other Rainbow Rowell books on this list, and that's because I haven't read anything else by her but this one, though I plan to fix that very, very soon. Eleanor and Park is a contemporary, I guess, romance YA, and it follows Eleanor, who is like a red-headed, I guess, misfit, and Park, who just wants to stay invisible. And one day their world kind of collide on the bus. But this book just isn't about the romance, it's about the characters, it's about stories that are going on, you know, past the romance. It's just a heartwarming, fantastic, sad, beautiful book, and I loved it. Then we have Wonder by R.J. Palacio. It is about a boy named Augie, and he is born with a facial deformity, and it's about his kind of life and struggles, you know, living like this. It just doesn't follow Augie's perspective, it also follows his friends and family, which I found was really interesting and great because you got to see Augie's, I guess, story from all these different perspectives. This book was heartwarming and sad, and Augie was such an intelligent character that you couldn't help but just fall in love with. I highly recommend this book to everyone. And then we have the last book, which I actually didn't rate 5 out of 5 stars. All the other books here I have, but this one I rated 4 out of 5 stars because I found the ending a little off-putting, but I still love this book so much, and it is Forbidden by Tabitha Suzanne. This book has a lot of controversy. It involves incest. I have done a review on this and it was like very, very recent, so you can check that out if you wanted, but I absolutely adored this book. I know it is very controversial, but if you're willing to read about something like incest, then I would recommend this book because I found it fantastic. So these are my favourite books of 2014. I would love to know if you have read any of them and if any of them made your list for this year or any other years. And what was your most favourite read of 2014? If you can narrow it down to one. And so like this video if you liked it, and subscribe if you'd like to see more book related videos with me, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye!